She's the chair of the Civil Justice Subcommittee in the Florida House. Representative Kathleen Passidomo from the 106th Legislative District is here to discuss some of the bills she's sponsoring during the upcoming session. Thank you so much for being with us today.
It's great to be here.
Key bill that we want to talk about is the Vulnerable Road Users Bill. Tell me a little bit about this, because we've talked about it before, and I know that there were some updates to this bill.
Absolutely. We passed this bill in the 2015 legislative session. It didn't make it through the Senate as we terminated early, but in a way it was a good thing because I had an opportunity to work with people from all over the state on this bill to create a much better bill that I'm hopeful of passing this year.
And I want to make sure we establish that this deals with those people who might be the vulnerable cyclists and people who are using the roads in a different way other than cars, that they are vulnerable people out there. Now, you did receive feedback from the public. What did they say that made you change the bill? Because you say it's much stronger.
Absolutely. The first thing is a lot of people don't realize that bicycles are also vehicles on Florida roads, and they're required to follow the same rules of the road as motor vehicles are. Unfortunately, many of our rules of the road are conflicting and are obscure and are also archaic in our day and age when we have so many cyclists and pedestrians, joggers, walkers on the road. So what we did was create a common sense bill that basically addresses the issues of how are we going to share the road. And there's simple things like a very simple provision: when you come to a stop sign, everyone has to stop, cars and bicycles. But if you're in a group of about 40 bicyclists, which happens frequently, if you have a situation where a car has to stop and a bicycle has to stop, and then a car and then a bicycle, it could take hours to get through the intersection.
Exactly.
Common sense, let the bicycles go through in a group if they're in a group. Things like that are in the bill. What's more important in the bill is that the penalties for vehicles that strike cyclists and pedestrians have been very lax and very low. For example, you hear about cyclists that are hit by vehicles who are driving, on the wrong side of the road or too fast or whatever, having a $200 ticket, and that's all they get. So there's no real penalties for those who would strike a cyclist or a pedestrian.
Right. No incentive for people to even think about
Exactly.
doing better.
And so we are enhancing the penalties. The fines are greater. We also, in the bill, made it clear that cyclists also need to obey the rules of the road. And I think it's a balanced, fair bill, but when it's all said and done, if there's an altercation between a motor vehicle and a cyclist, the car does not go to the hospital.
Now, it's interesting because the way that we deal with transportation as of late has been changing, whether we're talking about Uber or we're talking about, manless cars, things of that nature. This is something that I'm certain has gotten a lot of attention and support, and certainly you've been talking about it, and what brought you to the table is a friend of yours that was hit by a car and felt like there was not a lot of recourse that he had. Tell me about what happened there.
Absolutely no recourse. This was my law partner, and he was riding lawfully with a group, making a lawful left turn. They had signaled, they had a green light, and a motor vehicle, a pickup truck driver who was driving on the wrong side of the street in the same direction, plowed through the intersection and basically ran over my law partner, threw him 60 feet in the air. He landed on his head, was in the hospital, and he's still suffering. And the driver only got a ticket for $200.
I would imagine that your partner was able to give you insight on this bill
Absolutely.
in some way.
Absolutely. He was very helpful.
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for giving us an update. As you said, the bill got better, and hopefully you'll get support from that. Sounds like a smart bill. Good to see you.
Thank you very much.
I'm Candace Kelly, and we've been speaking with Representative Kathleen Passidomo on a special edition of Comcast Newsmakers from the state capitol in Tallahassee, Florida.